Hey everyone! So if you saw my last video, or if you saw that it was 30 minutes long and decided to just Google what are aura symptoms, this is the follow-up to that. So in my last video I talked about what are aura symptoms, which I'm not going to really get into because I made a video about it. But I'll do like a short recap, is that they are the feelings that I experience and like sort of symptoms that I experience leading up to a seizure. Aura symptoms are absolutely not always something that leads up to a seizure. Like for me, they are. I feel them every time before a seizure. But what I mean by that is that people who experience migraines and migraine conditions, a lot of other things, I've realized in my own research and conversations, experience aura symptoms. So for me, in the context of my epilepsy, they do precede a seizure. Can't even say the own word. They do precede a seizure, but they can be experienced by other people. It does not mean, I don't want people to think like, oh my God, I'm experiencing what Megan talked about, I'm gonna have a seizure. Like, probably not, to be honest. Probably not. But possibly. But probably not. No, I'm totally kidding. Probably not at all. It could be all kinds of things, dehydration, anything. So, what weirdly helps me with aura symptoms when I'm experiencing them is what I want to talk about today, for a couple of reasons. First, so that if you're around me and I'm like, I'm freaking out, I'm having aura symptoms, pre-seizure symptoms, then you might know, like, oh, Megan said this one time of what to do. And also because if you experience aura symptoms and have found something helpful to you, like helpful for you to deal with them, like please do share that, because I find this topic genuinely interesting and very confusing. And you'll see what I mean, because I think all of these things are very weird and I have no idea if there is any actual science involved in this, or if it's just like bodies are weird and bodies do what they do. It's strange. So some things that help me, probably the biggest one is drinking sparkling water. And I find this so weird because it literally feels to me like there's little scrubby brushes. Like if you know the brand Scrubbing Bubbles, if you're American, and you imagine like that little, like, they're not like the logo, like mascot, like little scrubby brush with the eyes and it's like light blue. And like, I have a very calming image associated with that. That concerns me about American advertising in society, and I will like go back and unpack that maybe in therapy or something. But I have this image of like these little scrubbing brushes, like scrubbing my brain, making it clean, feeling better again. Like it is wildly the most helpful thing for me to just drink sparkling water. I don't understand why, but it's the case. Other big things are like, because usually I'm experiencing aura symptoms when I'm overstimulated, so getting physically out of that situation, going somewhere quiet, somewhere that doesn't have a lot of lights and sounds, is very helpful to me. Also, in terms of auditory stimulation, things you can hear, I would say like it helps me to focus on one thing, because what is really bad for me in these time periods, in these situations, is when I feel like there's a lot coming in, like I can hear, see, experience like too much. It's just like information overload, like stimulation overload for my brain. So if I can actually like put in headphones, listen to some kind of calming music, and for me that typically means something like theta waves, like chakra healing music. You can just like type these in on YouTube. There's tons of different stuff, which I want to research a little bit more into, because there are so many different things that those are said to help with, but I don't know the science behind it, so not speaking for the science, just again speaking from my own personal experience. Theta waves, chakra healing music, even like nature sounds sometimes, but usually I go for like the theta waves because I find it super calming. And also I recently found that astral projection music calms me, which is probably not the point of astral projection music whatsoever, but I was listening to it for different purposes, obviously, to be like, what's astral projection? Can I do it? And then found that it was calming. So weird. But also one that I recently noticed, and I mean like I noticed this, today's Tuesday, I noticed it on Friday, that I do a lot without consciously recognizing that I was doing it until Friday, is that if I'm feeling like the start of, and maybe this has more to do with anxiety, honestly, because I've had a bit of agoraphobia, probably a lot of people have, after COVID-19, after quarantine, like being out around people again, I'm like, everyone's disease, just like freaked out by people, because I've been telling my brain for months, like, people are scary, people could get you sick, you could get people sick, it's like a reciprocal effect, everyone's sick, and there's just, like this like crazy anxiety about people. So when I'm out in public, and because now in Prague we have a very safe situation, everything's pretty much under control. We have like 10 new cases a day, and so people are everywhere. Something that really helps me with that anxiety when I'm in the moment, if I cannot physically get out of it, if I'm like walking through a crowd or something like that, is like physically touching something. Like on my backpack, I have these like clips that go like right here, just like a little. There's an English word for this, but I don't remember it. Like a little, just like clip it. Like there's a strap that goes around here to like distribute weight properly around your chest, shoulders, back, whatever. So when I don't have that clipped, which is 99.99999% of the time, I think I've clipped it one time for fun, and I was like, so I don't use it, but it's just like hanging there. So I just like grab onto it, and it makes me feel physically grounded and like I don't know, like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. Like I feel like I'm in a controllable situation. Like if you've ever seen the movie Inception, where they have like an anchor, where they have to like see something within the dream to make them understand what's reality and what isn't. That is the simplest explanation for it for me, I guess, because like that's how I feel. Like first, I'm not really part of reality. Like I'm getting out of my body in a very, very negative way. Like, oh my god, my stress brain, blah, what's gonna happen? And I feel like my body is acting in ways I can't control. Having something that I can physically touch makes me feel like I can't control it, and like it's calming me down. Or like I'll like rub my thumb and finger together sometimes. Like, and I've noticed like little kids do this sometimes too. Like when you're in a stressful situation, just like touching something in a calming way, or like I think it's honestly like mostly for me to do with focus, like things that can like deeply focus my attention in one specific area on one specific thing, because then it tunes out naturally like the rest of the stuff. So those are my weird things that help with aura symptoms. Please, like I said, share with me if you've found something that helps for you. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's totally different. Who knows? Bodies are different, bodies are individual. But mine, like I said, are having something I can physically touch, sparkling water, weirdly, like being around, like just in situations or in rooms in areas that are quiet, or at least significantly more quiet or darker, actually, like what you can see, like light wise, darker than the situation I was in previously. But ideally, like a very quiet, very dark, like cold kind of place. Like heat doesn't tend to help. And then listening to calming music, like theta wave, chakra healing music, these type of things, which again, you can just straight up go on YouTube, go on Google. That's how I found them initially, for something wildly different. But I think because of the fact that they're related to stress and anxiety reduction, it helps me. I have no idea. Haven't again done the science on this, but I'm going to an epilepsy specialist in 2 days' time. So if he speaks good enough English, I'll ask him. If not, we will see how well my brain can translate the check he says and hopefully communicate it back to you guys. So we will see. We'll find out. But yeah, let me know if you have any other tips, questions, whatever. Let's do this together, epilepsy warriors. See ya.